Microphone test 212. Microphone test 212. Colonel, can you hear me? Microphone test 212. Microphone test 212. Microphone test 212. Colonel, can you hear me? All right, it's working. Part 9, man. Part 9. Spoilers ahead. Watch out for them spoilers, guys. I have so much to say about this game. I really do. About Final Fantasy 16. So much to say. And I will definitely say quite a lot about Final Fantasy 16. 16. Final Fantasy 16. Alright, so how do I describe Final Fantasy 16? Like, how do I put it in a nutshell? How do I do this? Well, here, let me try to describe it to you in a best possible way so you have some better understanding as to what Final Fantasy 16 is. First thing first, and for those of you who are not familiar with Final Fantasy in general, each Final Fantasy has its own story. So that's the important part for those of you who never played Final Fantasy, to understand that you don't need to play all the previous Final Fantasies to understand what's going on in this one. That's the beauty about Final Fantasy. It's not like Metal Gear. Like in Metal Gear, you gotta play all those Metal Gears to understand what's really going on. Here, you don't need to do that. Here, every and each Final Fantasy, it's its own universe, its own time frame, its own characters. So they're all different. So that's the good news. So the good news is you don't need to play previous Final Fantasies to get prepared for this one. All right. So the best way for me to explain what Final Fantasy 16 is, it's like Game of Thrones. Think of like Game of Thrones mixed with The Witcher and Mass Effect and Dragon's Age, and all kind of mixed in together, and then and mixing that pot, if you will, and it's cooking. But it's even bigger than that. Like this 16 Final Fantasy, it keeps surprising me. It keeps evolving. It keeps like pushing the envelope. Like I was like, oh really? They're gonna do that? Oh really? They're gonna do that? It has all of those elements, and I think this is why, in my opinion, this is the best Final Fantasy that I have played. Yes, I'll go as far to say, and some people are not gonna like this, I'll go as far to say it's even better than your beloved Final Fantasy VII. I know people say, how could you say that? Well, yeah, I can say that because I just said it. It's simple. I just said it. And I'm the first one to say it, as of this second, as of this minute. But then again, that's my opinion, that's my approach. So Final Fantasy 16, in my opinion, is one of their best. They're not using turn-based combat. They're using action-based combat. And it really works well, as you will see as I go and play through this part 9 in search for Kupta, Hugo Kupta. Now, if you don't know who Hugo Kupta is, he's just some guy who I need to deal with, and I need to defeat him so I can get rid of the last and final crystal, Mother Crystal. What are the mother crystals? Well, mother crystals are like energy, if you will. Just like we need fuel, right, to run our cars, our machines, etc., etc. So it's kind of like maybe not like fuel, but more like water. Like you need it. Like it's like you need this substance. But the problem with the crystals is it's being hijacked by all these different entities, and these different entities are manipulating the human beings, and they're turning human beings into these dominants. And these dominants are the substance of fire, lightning, and other things, ice. And they're being manipulated. And that's why you have all these wars between all these different republics, because the manipulation of these mother crystals. Okay, so that's like in a nutshell. But it's, again, it is much more philosophical. It is much more deeper than that. But this is something that you really have to dive into, spend a lot of time, like I did, to truly understand the story. So that's in a nutshell, in case you guys are wondering. Now, having said that, I think it's time that I continue with a Final Fantasy. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. One of the beauty about Final Fantasy 16, the loading time, it's super fast. 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds, depending on, I don't know, how PlayStation 5 mood is, Now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 3 seconds. Alright, so today, PlayStation 5, it's in a little bit of a wishy-washy mood. So it's 3 seconds. Usually it's about 2 seconds. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's play, shall we?
We should get going soon. Do you have water?
I've got a crystal. So long as we stay out of the Deadlands, we'll be alright.
I have a crystal, but you cannot see it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and join my uncle. Where is he? My uncle Byron. Is it Uncle Byron? Yeah, Uncle Byron. So Uncle Byron's going to join us in search of Kupta. Hugo Kupta. Kupta. That's his name. Hugo Kupta. I'm also going to use my chocobo, or chukaboo. It's like a camel, like a horse, more like a raptor bird, like an eagle raptor mixed. It's almost like eagle and raptor had a baby, and now you got a chocobo.
Good girl.
All right, let's go. And this is my dog. Jesus Christ, did I forget my name's dog? Toro? Oroko? Hold on, what's your name? Jesus Christ.
Safe.
I'm sorry. Torgo. It's Torgo. Torgo. It's Torgo. I'm sorry. His name is Torgo. Alright, Torgo. Alright, let's go visit Tupka. Tupka, I'm coming for you. Your days are over, Kupka. It really sucks that you guys don't know what's going on. Man, if you guys just read, if you guys knew, like how good this game is, ugh. But don't worry, you will, one of these days. All right, Kupta. Coming for you.
There it is. Drake's Fang. Kupta will be hiding inside.
Kupta.
Along with goodness knows how many guards, all on highest alert. You'll need to keep your wits about you if you're to reach him. So be careful. I will.
Don't worry, Uncle. I've done this shit before. Don't you remember?
Before you go, Clive, allow me to apologize.
For what?
After what befell at Phoenix Gate and the crisis that followed in its wake, I fled.
How dare you?
Retreated to my counting house and danced attendance on the viceroy in the hope of bringing me favor.
You coward!
I betrayed my nation to save my skin. What a coward I am.
But you are a coward, at least an honest one.
Uncle, please. It's not too late, Clive. Rosaria is yours by right, and there are those that would help you to take it back. Had I the courage of my brother, I might already have done so. But that ship has sailed. You, however, no. Forgive me, but I cannot. I fight to build a new world now. A better world. Where men can live and die on their own terms. I was raised in a nation that strove to improve the plight of bearers. Only later did I realize that spark of freedom did not arise by chance, but was kindled by my father. You would see me follow in his footsteps. And that is exactly what I need to do. Not by ruling Rosaria, but by extending his ideals to the whole of the twins. Though every soul in the realm may judge my actions heresy, I am certain my cause is just. You really are just like him, you know.
Of course I am.
Thank you, Clive, for coming back to me. I am proud to call you nephew.
Don't be proud. You're a coward. You know that. You left like a coward.
Well then, this is where we must part ways. Wish me luck in convincing my Canvarian friend to share his considerable talents.
I will not wish you any luck. You're a coward, Uncle. You left my father to die. You bastard.
Till then, away. Till then. Who said you, Uncle? And you, nephew. We have much to catch up on, you and I. I shall expect you to regale me with the tales of all your adventures when next we meet. couldn't regale me too.
Well, at least he was honest about it. Let's give it that way. At least he came out clean and he said that he was a coward. At least he admitted. So let's give him a pass. But that still makes him a coward, you know. Sure, he's coming out clean now after 18 years, right? After 18 years, yeah. But he's a coward, man. He left his father to die. And his mother, Annabelle, she betrayed his king, his father of Rosaria. And she made a deal with this other, other republic. And it's like Game of Thrones, man. That's the one thing like about Final Fantasy 16. It's like a Final Fantasy Game of Thrones. And you can't trust nobody. It's just one big mess of distrust and disloyalty. But then again, it's much bigger than Game of Thrones. Think Game of Thrones mixed with Mass Effect, mixed with The Witcher, mixed with Dragon's Age, and you put that whole thing into a pot and you start stirring that pot, and comes out of that pot you got Final Fantasy 16. So that's how big it is. And they curse a lot, dude. There's nudity, there's sexual themes here, there's cursing, a lot of profanity. It's very violent. It's like a Paul Verhoeven type of a video game, dude. So this is not your typical Final Fantasy, you know? This is like for the adults only Final Fantasy. And that's why I give it a 2 thumbs up. I mean, I give it 10 out of 10 easily. Easily. Alright, so we're going back to Drake's Fang. Apparently that's where Kupta is at. That's where he's hiding, I guess. I don't know. He's hiding there somewhere. Kupta. Oh, there he is. That's Kupta, by the way. That is him. So he's like Thanos. I cut both of his arms and they gave him, both of his hands. And I guess somebody fixed him. Like RoboCop. Oh, there he is. Kupta. That was me, you should know. Kupta. It was me that cut both of your hands. Don't be so angry, Kupta. Oh, you can try. Be quiet, Raven. Raven.
He sought to humiliate me. If you hadn't interfered, he would be dead.
You truly believe you would have triumphed and the battle continued?
Titan would have ground him into dust.
So who is this guy?
And how would he have done that?
Lord Commander of the Royal Knights.
You weren't strong enough, and you call yourself a dominant. Or rather, you did.
You mock me, Albert.
Harbord? Who is...
You see, Hugo, you are weak. But so long as that fire burns within you, there is still hope. There may yet be a way for you to take your revenge.
Tell me, what must I do? Please, I'll do anything. Just tell me.
Harbord?
The heart. crystal's heart is the most concentrated source of ether in all creation. Perhaps you could take advantage of that. Of course, the crystal would not yield her blessing to any ordinary man. But then, you are no ordinary man, are you? Clive Rossfield stole your power, but others have suffered a similar fate, and still managed to find strength to conjure.
Oh, that's interesting.